So if you're facing eviction in Seattle, you could now get a lawyer for free, paid for by taxpayers. Q13's Brandi Kruse joining us now. And Brandi, this is something being considered at the state level as well.
Yeah, obviously evictions have been talked a lot about during the pandemic, and it's not so much a concern right now, but after the eviction moratoriums are lifted, you might have people who owe back rent and who are going to face eviction and might need legal help. This is something in the city of Seattle that was pushed for by Councilwoman Sawant.
Every eviction is an act of violence against the renters who are traumatized and displaced, suddenly forced into daily survival mode. It is a blow against the children who are forced to move away from schools and friends, and against the adults who are forced away from community and social support systems.
So one of the things that Councilwoman Sawant was vehemently opposed to when it came to this legislation is something called means testing. So she basically wanted anyone who was facing eviction, regardless of their ability to pay, to be able to get a lawyer for free. There are other members on the council who didn't agree because they really felt like there needed to be means testing in order for it to survive a legal challenge. So let me take you through what they came up with, because it's a little odd, if I'm being honest. So when it comes to the right to counsel bill, what the council put in there is that you have to be an indigent renter in order to get a free attorney. However, there's no proof required. So basically all you're going to have to say is, I can't afford an attorney, and then one is going to be provided to you via the taxpayer. And so I guess it's means testing, but there really isn't an actual test. It's just you saying, I can't afford an attorney. So early estimates put the cost to the city at about $750,000 a year. Might be higher than that, especially as we understand how many people might be facing eviction. But there are some who argue, and I thought this was interesting, Bill, that this ultimately is actually a cost saver for taxpayers. There are some advocates for this that argue that it is much more expensive for the system to allow someone to fall into homelessness and then to spend a bunch of money and resources trying to lift them out of homelessness, which we know in Seattle has proven very difficult. So the thought is cheaper to pay for an attorney to keep them in their apartment than to let them become homeless.
And it sounds like a lot of people could qualify for this if they're having issues with their rent. $198,000 for a couple. I mean, that's not exactly poverty level,
Yeah, well, in theory, anybody facing eviction could qualify for this, although, the vast majority of people face eviction because they can't pay their rent, and so that would suggest some sort of issue with money, and so I guess that in and of itself would be a means test of sorts.
And the rent is high, we know that.